Hello, everybody. First of all, I want to say thank you to the organizers of TED for giving me this opportunity to talk about something which is so important to me, and also something which I think is really inspiring and unique, and which can be full of interesting points for everyone. So first of all, to introduce myself, my name is Anna Powdrill, as you already heard. I'm sorry that I'm not speaking in Croatian, Serbian, however. Ja pričam srpski, ali ne mogu da pričam sve. It's much easier for me to speak in English. Okay, so yeah, originally I come from England. I was born in London, and I grew up there. About 5 years ago, I went to Serbia, where I started a project with a group of other young people. This project is called Culture Exchange. Maybe some of you have heard about it. I'm not sure. Has anyone here been to Novi Sad? You can put your hand up. Yeah, put your hands up. Yeah, so we have a few. Has anyone been to Culture Exchange? Yeah, see you. Oh, great. Yeah, so let me learn how to use this. This one. Yeah, it works. Yeah. So this is Novi Sad, a little picture of it. And this is the place where I first went. We didn't start off with a business idea when we went there. First of all, we went to do a volunteer project. So I really was inspired by the idea of helping people. And with a small group of friends, we started a foundation. And we began with doing some shows for handicapped children and also for the Roma population there. After being there about 2 years, we decided that we wanted to set up a business. And ever since I was young, I wanted to own and work in a cafe. I had never done this kind of business experience before. Neither had any of the other group of friends that I had met there. But we decided at that point that we really needed to dream big and to do something that we hadn't done before, and why not to try? So in 2012, we started to begin the process of trying to open our own business in Serbia. And you can imagine that this would be a really interesting experience for a group of young people from all different countries around the world who don't speak Serbian or who don't know the customs or the cultures very well. All of us coming from different nationalities and having lived and worked under many different kinds of circumstances. Anyway, to fast forward a little bit now, we'll go a bit forward and then we'll go a bit back. So now we have 2 businesses, one operating in Novi Sad and the second one operating in Graz in Austria. So this is Graz, a small picture. Yeah, and Culture Exchange is a successful project in the way that it's really started from nothing, from the grassroots, from people who don't have experience and who didn't know anything about this kind of thing. So the business is that it's a cafe, a bike shop, and a bike kitchen, which is not a place where we're cooking with bicycles, even though it sounds like that. It's a place where people can come and fix their bicycles. It's focused on education, and people can learn how to use the tools. It's a free community space where everyone can come inside. You can bring your bike in, and you can, like, for instance, this bike, you can be like, oh, I have a problem with the tire. And we'll be like, okay, well, these are the tools, and we can teach you how to fix it. So this is the group of people that started Culture Exchange. Okay, so I wanted to take you through a little process of how the idea became action, because I think that this is really interesting. The fact that the first moment when the idea was realized, it started off with us all sitting together in our living room in Novi Sad. And we were discussing together like our plans for the future. We would talk about what ideas we had or maybe what we wanted to do. And I said to them, guys, I think we should really dream big. There's no reason why we shouldn't. And I think we should try and start a cafe here. So this was the first part. So the journey from thought to action starts off always inside of our minds. And I think everybody here, I mean, I still have lots of big ideas of things that I would like to do, and I'm sure all of you have lots of plans and things that you think would be really great if you could do this, right? And you think about the dreams that you had when you were a kid, maybe something that you really wanted to specialize in or that you wanted to work in. But so many times, like along the way, we get distracted, like in that talk that we saw earlier, where the girl was amazing dancer, but in the end she had the opportunity to use that skill, but not all of us get that attention on our dreams or on what we want. So the first thing is when something starts in your mind, when you have the feeling that you can really do it, you should begin that process. So you think about it for some time. You start to like get fascinated by the idea, to think about a lot of it. And then you start to say it. So that's what we did. We talked together. We were like, well, we could do it like this. What would you think it would look like? And at the same time, as I was talking a lot about having a cafe, the other guys said, well, we want to start a bike shop. And we basically put the concept together, and that's how we created Culture Exchange. So we started to make plans. As you can imagine, like opening in a country like Serbia, it was very different for all of us. And we had so many different aspects to consider and to think about. And I remember in the beginning, I would go around to all the different offices, go to one place, and they'd be like, what, you don't speak Serbian? Ne pričaš srpski? Like, no, and I want to open this cafe, and I'm thinking about this. What do I need to do? And they're like, what do you mean? You know, it was really like a crazy concept for them. And then they would tell you, okay, well, you need to do all of these things. So you would go and do them all, get all the papers, and come there. And then they would be like, no, you're missing one paper. I think all of you know this experience from trying to do everything. So then you go, you work, you pay this and that bill, you go and you get that paper, and you come back to them, and then they're like, nah, this and this person needs to sign it. You're like, well, where is this and this person? And they're like, now they're there. So it's a bit of like a run around to get to it. But that's actually the exciting part. And you know, afterwards, when you have the product, the thing that you've made, and the beautiful place or the beautiful idea is realized, actually the most interesting part of it and the best stories and all the funny stuff comes from all that struggling part. So it's like, to get to where you need to go through a lot of crazy stuff. And in the end, the parts which are the best for you were the parts that at the moment it felt like it was the worst. Yeah, I wanted to tell a little story about something that also happened to me when I was, at one point I was cycling from Serbia towards Milano. So I'm a cyclist. And we were in this part of Croatia, pretty close. We were cycling from, I think, Vinkovci, and we were going to Karlovac, and from Karlovac going to Rijeka. And me and my friend, we both had sustained some kind of injuries, and we were looking at the map, and we were asking our friend, like, okay, we need to go to Rijeka. Which way is the easy way? And he just looked at us, and he shook his head, and he said, girls, there is no easy way. And there really was no easy way. It was a really difficult road, but in the end, we made it. So, the act towards it part. Okay, so there's so many different aspects of what we had to do in order to open the business. It's really hard to put this down into 18 minutes because it's been 3.5 years of really working on this. But I guess one of the most important things that probably all of us would face when you want to start a business or a project is that we just don't have any money for it. And that was something which was really a tough and challenge for us because we didn't have the finances that we needed. So we had to put together a plan of really crazy and unique ways that we could try and get the money for it. And something that we did before we did it was that we made a short campaign video explaining about our idea. And we put this video on a platform called Indiegogo. I don't know if any of you have heard of this. It's very similar to Kickstarter, which is, it's a funding platform. And it's really amazing for me to look back and to see the video and to see what we thought the place would be like before it was even realized. So I have the video here. It's just 2 minutes long, so maybe we can, if this works, we're gonna watch it. There should be music.
They made a statue of us and they put it on a mountain top. Now tourists come and stare at us, blow bubbles with their gum, take photographs of fun, have fun. They'll name a city after us and later say it's all our fault. Then they'll give us a talking to, then they'll give us a talking to, 'cause they've got years of experience living
reason why I wanted to show you that was to show you like the first step that we took. And we didn't know what would be the response of people from that short video, but we actually raised half of the money that we needed for the building of the cafe in Novi Sad from that. So just from a small idea, something like that, you can already make progress towards it. And the rest of the funds, the way we got it was in such interesting ways. There was one book that I was reading from someone in the States talking about opening a cafe. And I just wrote him and I said how much I loved the book. And I told him something about the story of why I was in Serbia and stuff. And he wrote me and said, yeah, I really want to support you. So tell me how much you need. And he sent us $5,000 to help us towards that project. So many interesting things happen when you start to make a step towards your dreams. You know, when you start to push yourself and to put yourself out there. And I mean, just like doing a talk here today or coming here today to the conference, you really can't do something wrong by trying. You know, there's always some kind of reaction that's going to happen. But if you don't try, you would never going to know what's going to be. I mean, imagine if we hadn't sat together in our living room and said like, hey, let's do this, let's open this place, let's try. Like, our lives would be so completely different, and also the lives of so many other people that the whole project has touched. And the point is that, you know, there's no fear in trying for what you really want, because you can't lose anything from the standpoint where you are today. You know, there's only the future ahead of you. Everything else is behind. And the moment that you're in right now, like, there's no better time to realize your dreams. There's no better time to try. And everything that you're afraid of, like, the fears are nothing when you consider all the great things that are going to happen. So this is some pictures, like just really small. I didn't have time to gather so many of them. I was traveling a lot these days between Serbia and Austria. But you can see a little bit of what it looks like. A lot of people come there and use the space and have parties and lots of interesting workshops and galleries. Okay. So towards the first year of us opening the business in Serbia, we had a really interesting thing happen to us. Some reporter wrote an article about us saying that we were a cult and that we were gathering young people for our cult. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Okay, so this was a big obstacle. You can imagine that one day you wake up in the morning, your friend calls you and says, hey, come here right now. This is some serious stuff that's happening and you need to see it. And you think, yeah, I will have a coffee first. Why should I worry? Anyway, then your wall on Facebook starts getting bombarded by like, you're a cult, you're this, you're that. Crazy stuff starts to happen. We went and we read the article. It put all of our faces, our names, our addresses, and said that we were basically really terrible things about all of us, that we were trying to recruit people for some kind of religious thing, a lot of lies, a lot of strange stories. From that point on, everything got really crazy. You know, then after that, we did a lot of things to try and tell really the truth about what was happening, and the reason why it was kind of a political thing that we were trying to be forced out of the country, and because of the fact that this project had such a good impact on the city. And we had a press conference. This was really one of the most amazing moments of my life, when you go and you sit down and in your own small business that you started from nothing, and there's just people packed inside, and you just look out from the window and see people surrounding you, and every reporter has their microphone to you and you need to say something. But an incredible moment as well, a moment where you can stand up for what you do, a moment to show people what you're made of and to show some bravery and courage in the face of everything. Even me and one of the other owners, we got a lot of death threats. Yeah. We're still alive. I received one in my, you know, in Facebook they have like the other inbox that you don't really see. It was like, by this time tomorrow you will be dead. I read it 3 days later. Anyway, I was like, wait, when was this sent? No, never mind. Yeah, and we got like, you know, get out of Serbia, you this and that, religious cultists, we're gonna come to your place and burn it down. Anyway, the point is that they didn't, and you know, there's this saying, I think it's actually a Serbian saying, I don't know if maybe you guys have heard it. It says the dog barks at the caravan, but the caravan just keeps rolling. Yeah. And this is how it is with everything that you do when you want to stand out and do something different. Everybody will have a lot to say to you. Believe me, they have a lot to say to you. They have a lot of criticism. They have a lot of stuff to tell you that you're doing wrong. You will never be the perfect person to own a business or to do anything outstanding. You know how many times people told me, like, oh, you shouldn't run a business. Look at you. You're completely scatterbrained. You know, and all kinds of stuff like that, you know, and even friends of mine that told me, like, oh, you're not made of the right stuff to do this. Why are you even trying? The point is, people can say whatever they want, you know, that's their own perception of reality, that's their negativity, and you don't need to let it reflect on you. Anyone here can do anything that they want to. There's no limitations. And even if you're in the process where you're making a mess of it and you feel like you're failing, that's just the learning process. Like, since when do you, like, see a little baby walking and be like, ah, look at you, you're falling over a lot, aren't you? Ah, look at you, don't try and walk again, you're shit at it. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I knew I would swear at some point, I just didn't know when. I got it out, and now we can move on. You know, that's the whole point of everything when you're young and you're going to try stuff. Like, you're going to be bad at it. You're going to be really bad. It's going to be embarrassing. You're going to do so many mistakes. Everyone's going to look at you sometimes and say, like, man, why did you do that? Yeah, because you're inexperienced, and you never did it before. And the point is that you're learning, you're in a growing phase. And if you can get past that growing phase, you're going to be really good at it. I mean, every baby learned to walk, didn't they? Pretty much. You don't see some adults still crawling around on their hands and knees and be like, well, I didn't learn how to do this. I mean, that would be really funny. But, and I hope that there is someone out there like that, because that's cool. But, yeah, anyway, everybody did learn to do it. Yeah, this is the press conference. Okay, so the owners of Culture Exchange got deported from Serbia. The only one who was, yeah, that was the end of that part of the point. Yeah, they got deported. The only person that was allowed to stay in the country was, yeah, me. I don't know why they did that. I also, my friends told me, like, why didn't they deport you? You're the one that talks the most. I was like, yeah, I also think that they did a serious oversight there. But anyway, when it came to the point where they were viewing everyone's passports, they found like a really unusual and slightly tricky way and got every owner out of the country. But the point is, from there, we really didn't give up. And 5 of us who really believed in the project and who wanted to continue decided that we would work on getting the finances that we needed and opening our next one. And because we're super brilliant, we decided to open it in yet another country that we don't understand the language in. Yeah, pretty smart. You know, it was the choice made because we really felt connected to Graz in some way through the cycling. So this is Culture Exchange Graz. It's been open for 5 months now. It's a second business. It feels really strange to say that I'm the owner of 2 businesses in 2 different countries. But also I feel really proud of it, not only of me, but of all the other owners, the other 5 people that I've worked with for these 3 years, because I've seen how much they've struggled through this, and all the different things that we've gone through has only made us believe more in our cause and to see that this is something that we really believe in. Some more pictures. Okay, so the main point when people ask us why we do this, or we ask ourselves this question a lot, actually. I mean, when I was thinking about doing the talk here, when Ivan wrote me, we were joking together and we were like, it should be called How to Ruin Your Life, Open Your Own Business. Because in so many ways, it ruined our lives. But you have to destroy something sometimes to make it better. And the main question that people who come into the cafe in Serbia always tell me is like, why Serbia? Why are you here? Everybody wants to get out of here, and what are you doing here? And I'm like, yeah, that's a very good question. I still haven't found the answer to it. But it's still, it's still important to think about that the reason why we're doing this kind of project is because we believe in it. We're not rich. We don't have a lot of things. I've been living without a home and traveling around like for the last year with just my backpack between 2 different countries. Hitchhiking, getting car rides with random different people, like working 3 jobs to try and sustain it because it's in the beginning phase, working 16 hours a day. The rest of the Culture Exchange crew, everybody is tired. Everybody is really exhausted. But the reason why we're doing it is because we believe that this is something that can be done and that everybody should be able to do what they want and to try for something. That not only the very rich people should be able to open their own businesses and do something that they believe in, but we should all be able to have a chance. Oh, I went one too far. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so To finish it off, I want to say that we are all agents of change, that we are all responsible for doing something to make the world better, and to not just go through life like on this very calm way and just accepting everything that happens to us. Like, we choose our own path. It's the same way, it's true, that thing, like, life is like riding a bicycle, you know, and in so many ways you can take that into every area. Like, you can choose to go on some of those really flat roads, but if you really like hills, you're going to want to ride up, because after you ride up, you get to go down that nice downhill. And after that part, when I rode through Croatia, I got to this place on the border of Italy, and we had like a 10-kilometer downhill into Trieste. It's the most beautiful ride of my life. Such a great feeling. By the end, me and my friend were both crying, like so happy, because we understood how much it cost us to get to that point. It wasn't that we could just ride downhill and be like, wee, yay! No, we knew what suffering felt like, and we knew what joy felt like. And if you want to live your life like that, and to have some color in it, and to understand really the deep feelings of life, you have to put yourself at risk. And without any risk, we're just going to, nothing's going to change. And I know everybody here is coming to this talk because they believe in change and because they believe that they can do something. And I think that's really great. And yeah, thank you so much for letting me speak. I think I did 18 minutes. Did I?